Kevin Ortiz is in.
Think we are live on Facebook.
Great. So we're just going to wait a few more minutes to allow more folks to hop on the call or tune into the live stream, and then we'll get started, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us.
Your questions were also questions of members of the committee.
Sasha must be on the call.
For Alex.
Hey, AJ.
Hello, Keith.
Hello, I'm in 2 Zooms at one time here. We're still loading.
Is eBoard still going on, Keith?
Yes.
I bailed on it 3 times today for other things.
Oh my goodness.
Marathon.
It is.
I had to do training for a phone bank, and then
lower the hands. Well, let's.
I'll turn my speaker off because you know how annoying that is.
Do not become bitter or hostile. Be hopeful, be optimistic. Never ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. We will find a way to make a way out of no way. We will get in the way. And we are joined on the call by many people who are getting in the way.
So hello to everyone who's jumping on the call right now. We're waiting just a few more minutes to make sure everybody has a chance to get on. And we'll start very shortly. And I'm sure you're used to hearing that on Zoom calls.
Good troublemaker, of course. I is our speaker, so back over to you.
So hello to those who are jumping on the call. We're doing the usual, hanging out for a few minutes to give everyone time to get on. And Speaker Pelosi is on another call right now, so when she's done, she will join us. This is exciting today. So say hello in the chat box when you're arriving. And if you're involved with one of the local Democratic clubs, you can mention that in the chat box when you say hello, so we know who's here. I don't want that. Annie, why are you called Susan? Oh, that's my link. That's why. That I sent you.
You gave me your link.
I didn't realize it was unique. You can rename yourself.
Okay.
Oh, I got you too, Susan.
No, I sent it to both of you because it was sent in an email, but just rename yourself if you can.
We have-
How do you do that?
I can do it. I can do it in Italy.
Let's see. No. Alice, put your mouse or your cursor on your picture, and in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see 3 white dots. And you click
Oh.
on the white dots, and you'll get a
Oh,
drop
okay.
down, and you can rename yourself.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well,
too funny.
I have your picture. I can't find my picture. Wait, here you stop.
No, you want to go
Yeah. Yeah, I want to get me on.
right. You can do that. It's just my name. Sorry about that. I never know those are unique.
Sarah Suzanne on the call. Former Sarah Suzanne.
Great. All right, I think we should probably get started. I think most folks have joined us, and more folks may hop on and also be tuning in live on Facebook.
Hi.
All right.
I got you.
Hello.
I got you, honey. Do you see me by any chance?
I don't know. Yeah. You're somewhere.
Your video's
Thanks.
not on.
So Alice, you still have my name, but it's okay. We know who you are. We know you're there.
Yeah, you see the blank, the head, the white head. Yeah. So now you know I'm a Caucasian.
Should we mute to start the program? Or what do you think?
Yeah, so let's have everyone, if you can, go on mute. So
Good for me. Otherwise, I'll talk all day.
You can't mute, honey. She won't allow it.
We'll keep an eye on Henny today.
Right.
It's been a long weekend.
Peter,
Kareem,
just to let you know, we have member Honey, Margot Honey, who's in the public, but I cannot bring her in, so I will just allow her. I can allow her the audio.
Okay.
So I think we can hear.
Hello.
You. Yeah.
Hi, member Mahogany. Thanks for joining us. All right. I think we should get started. So good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Democrats. Hello.
Good. Hello, hello, hello.
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 So we are officially live right now. We are live on Facebook. So hello, those of you who are tuning in via Facebook. We also have, I guess, over 80 people who have hopped onto our Zoom call. So hello, Zoomers, and welcome. We're so excited that you are with us today for this special event. And
there I am.
And there you are, Alice. We see you.
Right. Even though it says Susan, forget that.
We know who you are.
Right.
Thanks, Alice. So yes, please take a minute to introduce yourselves in the chat. We're going to ask everybody to just go on mute so we can reduce any sort of background noise during the call today so we can hear from our speakers. But please do use the chat function on Zoom to introduce yourself, your name, where you are right now, if you're in San Francisco, if you are active in a local group or Democratic club. Let us know. If you're tuning in on Facebook, introduce yourself in comments, say hello. I think that we are all in this together, so we need to get to know each other in order to do this work. So we're really glad that you're here today. And in that spirit of introductions, I will just introduce myself. I am Peter Galata, and I have the honor of serving as the vice chair for partnerships for the San Francisco Democratic Party. And it's really an honor to be here today and to be virtually joined by so many incredible Democrats. We will be hearing from the highest ranking Democrat in the country, our speaker, Nancy Pelosi, in just a little bit. And I know that we have Team Pelosi in the House with us today. Welcome, Team Pelosi. We have San Francisco Democratic Party Chair David Campos, as well as elected leaders from our San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee. We have delegates to the California Democratic Party who are on the call with us today. We have members and leaders of our locally chartered Democratic clubs. And we also have our Nancy Pelosi Fellows and our Sue Bierman interns. And I wanted to acknowledge them because these young folks are working with the San Francisco Democratic Party this summer, and we are just so fortunate and lucky to have them. And they are on the call with us. And so our Sue Bierman High School interns, we have Emmanuel Ching and Alan Terrones. And our Nancy Pelosi College Fellows, we have Zoe Bishop, Priscilla Jin, and Fidel Gilchrist. And I just want to thank them for their service to our party. They are the future of our Democratic Party. So thank you to our fellows and our interns. We are also joined today by a number of our partner groups who are doing the work to organize all of us so we can take back our country in November. And we will be hearing from a few of them shortly. But today's event is really all about you. It's about all of us. And even though we can't be with each other in person, we still wanted to gather everybody together, get the band back together, because the greatest asset we have to defeating Donald Trump is all of us, right? It's people power. That's how we're going to change our country in the next 100 days. And so if you hadn't heard, it's true, we are only 100 days until November 3rd. It's getting real, right? This is coming really soon. So that's why we're really excited today to be officially launching VoteBlueSF, which will serve as a virtual hub space for Democratic volunteers to get engaged in the 2020 election. And VoteBlueSF is a partnership between our very own Congresswoman and Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, and the San Francisco Democratic Party. And so to kick off today's event, I'd like to first introduce the chair of the San Francisco Democratic Party, David Campos.
Thank you very much, Peter. And I want to begin by thanking each and every one of you for taking time on a Sunday to be here on an historic day, 100 days before the election. And I think that when the history of this election is written about how this blue wave and Democratic victory was made possible, one of the moments that we will be able to point to is this gathering today on this historic day. And thank you for being a part of that history. Thank you to Peter and Karima from the Democratic Party, who have spent a lot of time to make this happen, to our amazing interns that Peter mentioned, Alan, Emmanuel, Fidel, Priscilla, and Zoe. And I also want to acknowledge, before I turn it over to Speaker Pelosi for her remarks, I want to acknowledge the members of the Democratic County Central Committee that are on this Zoom meeting. You can see Member Lee Levitt, Member Keith Baraka, Member Nancy Tung, Member Malia Cohen is also on the call, as well as Member AJ Thomas. I'm not sure if I'm missing any current member that is on, but thank you very much to my colleagues on the DCCC for being involved. We also have former members Sarah Souza and Francis Shea who are on the call. And then before I turn it over to the speaker, because I think we all want to hear from her, let me also thank the incredible team Pelosi, who has worked to make this happen. We're going to hear from one of them, from Susan Pfeiffer, but we also have Dan Bernal, Kevin Ortiz, and Gary McCoy as well. So it really is an honor for us to partner with you. So with no further ado, let's hear from the woman that has single-handedly helped to protect democracy in this country, who has done something that no one has ever done before. She has gotten under Donald Trump's nerves, under his skin. She has outplayed him in a way that no one has. And when the history of this country is written, not only will she be identified as the highest ranking woman to be elected up to this point, but in terms of her significant role in really protecting who we are as a country, Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Hi, friends. It's Nancy. It is with great excitement that I join you and San Francisco Democratic Party Chair David Campos to kick off VoteBlueSF. We come together at a very tumultuous time in our history. Together, we mourn the tragic deaths of George Floyd, Sean Monterosa, and many others killed by police brutality. And we grieve for the thousands of Americans lost to a pandemic that has disproportionately hurt communities of color. But where there is pain, there is also promise. Today, the Trump administration deploys anonymous federal law enforcement agents to silence peaceful protesters. Democrats, led by the Congressional Black Caucus and Congresswoman Karen Bass, are taking action to address the crisis of police brutality and systemic racism. While the current occupant of the White House tries to distract from his abysmal failure on the coronavirus crisis, on the economy, and much more, Democrats are fighting back. In fact, in this Congress, we have made significant strides for the people. To name a few, we passed legislation to protect the personal and financial security of women, our dreamers, our environment, our LGBTQ community, our elections, the ballot, and the sacred right to vote. For seniors and families, we moved to dramatically lower the cost of prescription drugs and strengthen healthcare. We passed sweeping legislation to get our country moving forward by rebuilding our infrastructure in a green way to address the climate crisis and investing in our children's future. We passed the CARES Act and the HEROES Act, fighting for those on the front lines of the coronavirus crisis. None of this could have happened without your mobilizing and organizing in 2018. Then, with more than 3,000 of our VIPs, our volunteers in politics, came through our doors in the Castro, contacting key voters and helping elect 16 House Democrats. You unleashed a wave. You ushered in the most diverse House of Representatives that is over 60% women, LGBTQ members, and people of color. Today, we need you once again. Every voter you register, every call you make, every postcard you mail, every text you send, and every virtual meeting you join can make the difference between winning and losing. Together, following the lead of our dear friends, Jane Morrison and Congressman John Lewis, we will be relentless in our pursuit for a more perfect union. Together, we will hold the House. Together, we will vote blue and elect Democrats up and down the ballot. Together, we will elect a Democratic Senate. Together, we will elect Joe Biden President of the United States. Onward to a great Democratic victory, a great blue SF victory. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Speaker Pelosi, for those moving words. And let me just say a few words about, for me as a San Francisco Democrat, as chair of this party, but more importantly, as an American citizen, the importance of this election. And I think a number of you have heard me talk about my own personal experience coming here as an undocumented kid in search of a better life. And there are so many people who, like me, have seen and continue to see this country as a beacon of light for the rest of the world, and the American dream really being what this country is about. And what we have seen in the last 4 years since the election at 45 is an individual who, for as long as I remember, really stands for everything that is not what this country is about. Someone who has promoted a white supremacist agenda, someone who actually got elected by dividing people and pitting people against each other. So for me, someone who came here in search of the American dream, what is at stake more than ever is really whether or not we as a country will continue to be that beacon of light, that promise that something is possible irrespective of who you are, irrespective of your background. That is what is at stake, is the American way of life. And I know that it becomes a cliche that this is the most important election. You know, people tend to say that about every election, but I don't think that it's an exaggeration to say that what is at stake in November is whether or not we as a country are going to continue to be the country that we have been for most of our history. If we have another 4 years of this man in the White House, I don't see that we're going to be the same country at the end of that 4 years. And so when you look back at what has happened in Democratic politics, the San Francisco Democratic Party has always played an important role. And what we showed in 2018 is that even though here we are in San Francisco, a city that has, you know, less than 1 million people, that we as San Francisco Democrats can actually make a difference, not only in what happens here, but what happens in the state and what happens in the rest of the country. And when we started that effort, we began focusing on 7 congressional districts that we were hoping that working with Speaker Pelosi and our partners, and you're going to hear from some of them, Swing Left and all these other amazing organizations, we thought, you know, maybe we can make a difference in those 7 districts. We got so much response, and San Francisco Democrats stepped up to the plate to the point that we actually had to expand the number of districts that we were focusing on. And I remember, you know, having those conversations where that number went from 7 to 9 to 11 to 13. At some point we had 19. And in the end, we played a role in flipping 16 congressional districts. And that's what not only gave us a majority in the House of Representatives, but once again made Nancy Pelosi Speaker of the House. So 2 years later, we have an opportunity not only to replicate what we did, but to actually take it to the next level. In working with Speaker Pelosi, with our partners, we are not only going to be able to keep control of the House of Representatives, but we're going to be able to make a difference in really critical races when it comes to the US Senate and, of course, the presidential race. But there will also be important ballot measures in the state of California. And this hub, this VoteBlueSF, can be a place where people can come to actually actualize their frustration with government, where if you are unhappy with what's happening with the world, if you believe that our country should not be the #1 country when it comes to coronavirus deaths in this world, then you have an opportunity to do something. If you believe that it is not right that we've had a federal government that has essentially allowed 130,000 people, Americans, to die because of their poor management of this pandemic, then you have an opportunity to do something. So I'm very proud to be in a place where we're replicating this effort, but we're not just replicating it, we're going to make it even better and stronger. And so I'm very proud of that. And I would end with this, you know, San Francisco Democrats, we tend to have very strong opinions. And at times, especially when it comes to local matters, we have differences of opinion and we have heated debate. And that's the nature of San Francisco politics. And we saw it in the endorsement meeting the other day. But this presents an opportunity for all of us to put that aside. And I'm not saying to minimize or forget those differences, but to recognize that notwithstanding those differences, that we have a lot more in common, that we are here because we believe in our San Francisco values. And one of the things that I'm the proudest of 2 years ago is that we had people who could not agree on a lot of different things at the local level who were yet sitting next to each other, making those calls. Now, we may not be able to perhaps be physically close to each other, but we will be part of the same effort. Regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, you're going to be there making sure that San Francisco Democrats deliver those victories to have that blue wave in November. And I know we're going to make it happen. I am grateful to Peter Galata. I am grateful to Karima Lynch. They have been incredible, and our interns. And I know that all of our members, those who are here today, but also those that are not here today, are going to be involved, because we're going to show that San Francisco Democrats, that we are relevant, that our voice will be heard in November, not just here, but throughout this country. So thank you so much. And I will turn it back to our amazing MC, Peter Galata.
Thank you, Chair Campos. Can we give like a virtual round of applause to our chair and also to our speaker, to Speaker Pelosi, for her words today and for her incredible partnership and leadership to bring us all together to do this work in the next 100 days. And I think, you know, San Francisco Democrats, are we ready to take it up a notch, to take it to the next level? Because that's really what this is about. And I know it's hard to do call and response on a Zoom call, but you know, it's time to get fired up. It's time to get energized and to get activated. And that's exactly why we're meeting today, and we are kicking off Vote Blue SF with all of you. And so I want to talk just briefly about just the vision for Vote Blue SF and what we hope to do together in the next 100 days. And as Speaker Pelosi and Chair Campos said, this is about building off of the success of our Red to Blue SF headquarters that many of you I know came through those doors in the Castro, spent many days and into the night there with us making calls. We had hundreds of volunteers, thousands actually, come through the doors there, and that volunteer power made all the difference. And we know that because of the outcomes of the 2018 election, and that San Francisco Democrats were critical in achieving those outcomes. So as Chair Campos said, COVID-19, of course, has changed so much about how we live our lives, and it's changed also how we organize for elections too. We take the health and safety of our community so seriously, and we need to right now. And so we did not feel that it was safe to bring people together in a physical space for in-person activities like we did with Red to Blue SF in 2018. But trust me, that's not going to stop us by any means from doing the work that we need to do to win the election. And I would say it's been pretty amazing to see how creative many Democratic campaigns have been in just recent months to engage voters during this time when, you know, going door to door, going out to canvass is just not as feasible. So, you know, thankfully, one of the most effective tools that we have at our disposal are our phones. And in 2018, we made thousands of calls to voters in California and throughout the country. And the good news is we're going to do that again this year. And we can do that from home. So our vision for Vote Blue SF is to be a virtual space where Democrats can sign up to volunteer and can get plugged in to virtual, you know, get out the vote activities that are being organized by partner groups in the San Francisco Bay Area. And we'll also be initiating some programming hosted by Vote Blue SF as well. We want trainings, virtual workshops, and of course, phone banks and text banks. And so one of the main things we are encouraging everyone to do this cycle is phone bank. And we are very lucky because here in the Bay Area, we not only have one of the most active volunteer bases in the country, but we have a number of incredible organizations that continue to do this work of turning out the vote in the midterm elections and in presidential election years. And many of these groups came together or came out of really the 2016 election. And they were absolutely critical to the Democratic victories in 2018. And so that organizing infrastructure that these groups have put in place will be absolutely critical to our success this year. And so Vote Blue SF is not possible without partnership. And so I want to introduce two of our partner groups who will be working with as part of VoteBlueSF, actually three of our groups. We have Swing Left San Francisco, Democracy Action, and Sister District. And many of you may be familiar with these organizations, but I did want to give them the opportunity to just share briefly about the work they're doing, the races they're focused on, and also how we can get involved. And so to kick things off, I would like to first introduce Susan Shane from Swing Left San Francisco.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you, Chair Campos, and of course, thank you, Speaker Pelosi and Speaker Pelosi's staff, one and all, for kicking this off and hosting this virtual event. I'm Susan Shane. I'm a co-lead of Swing Left San Francisco, and as Peter mentioned, we started in 2017. Instead of licking our wounds, we organized an organization, and were instrumental in flipping the House in 2018, along with all of you, with the San Francisco Democratic Party, with Speaker Pelosi's office, with Democracy Action and Sister District. And we continue to do that. And just to highlight Chair Campos's words about we may be a blue bubble, but we are a blue force. And that for Swing Left, the statistics of all of Swing Left chapters, over 25% of all the calls made to flip congressional houses across the country came from the Bay Area. So let's focus on making that 30 to 40% this year, and making sure that we not only keep the houses that we flipped, flip the many, many more congressional races. Cook Political Report just said moved 20 House races toward the Democrats last week, that we flip the Senate and take it back, and of course elect President Biden to be. At any rate, so Swing Left focuses on a number of areas. Phone banks, first and foremost. We have and have had a great phone banking effort. And the other thing about Swing Left is we almost always work in conjunction with other organizations. So our phone banking efforts are in collaboration with Democracy Action. And you'll hear about Democracy Action in a minute from Susan Pfeiffer. But our Saturday phone banks from 1 to 4 every Saturday are with Susan Pfeiffer and Democracy Action. And our Wednesday phone banks in the evening are with Sister District. So we are already always looking for collaborations, and I thank Peter Galata and Karima Lynch and Chairman Campos for supporting us and supporting these efforts to work together, because indeed we are stronger together, just to coin a phrase. So we have our phone banks. We also have I can say now with certainty, we have a nationwide program called Phone Banking for Introverts. And we put it on about twice a month for people who are timid about phone banking. It's not everybody's cup of tea, if you will. And it's gotten great traction all over the country, and you can sign up for our Phone Banking for Introverts. So it gets you up to speed on how to phone bank. We also write postcards for specifically TJ Cox, who's running to be reelected in District 21 in California. And we are launching a text banking effort also for TJ Cox in District 21. I should go back and tell you what races we're focused on. So we at Swing Left San Francisco are focused on the 2 House races that we helped to flip in 2018. One was for Josh Harder in District 10, and the other is TJ Cox in District 21. We are still supporting them. The second area we're working on is in Arizona. We're working with Sister District to flip a state Senate and a state House seat in Legislative District 6 in Arizona. And we flip that one and a few more, and we win the Arizona State House and the state Senate, which would be fantastic, especially coming up to redistricting. We're also supporting Mark Kelly, who's running for Senate in Arizona. And just last week, we added 2 new legislative races in Texas, because believe it or not, I think we're in where there's a delta of 9 races in Texas, and we could even flip one of the houses of the Texas legislature. We can do it. So thank you to all. Thank you for all your support. Go to swingleft.org, put in your zip code, and it will link you, allow you to sign up for Swing Left San Francisco. You'll get our weekly newsletters with all of our activities. And I just want to thank Peter and Karima and Chair Campos and the Speaker Pelosi for supporting all of our efforts together.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Swing Left San Francisco. I love the phone banks for introverts. I think that that's so awesome, and it's great to see so much traction. I know that I remember when I first started phone banking, I was a little weary of doing it. You know, you feel a little awkward. So to have that kind of support and to get people more comfortable with doing it is so great. And also just to highlight, you know, what we're excited about for VoteBlueSF this year is that we're going beyond just congressional House races. There's obviously the Senate races. There's also state races that are really key, and so we're going to be supporting you know, Swing Left's efforts in those key districts. As well as, you know, Democracy Action's work, and also up to the presidential as well with Joe Biden. So thank you, Susan. Now I can bring on the next Susan, Susan Pfeiffer with Democracy Action and Sister District.
Hi, Peter. Thank you. And thank you, Susan Shane, the 2 Susans. Susans are coming out of retirement. We're baby boomers. For explaining about Swing Left and Sister District, because that really helps. I'm going to talk a little about Democracy Action. We are sort of a hodgepodge conglomerate. We are a club, so to speak, and we're the phone bank pros. We grew out of the Hillary Clinton headquarters. The group that ran the phone banks managed them and were phone bank captains at the Hillary campaign. And many of us also both Obama campaigns realized in 2017, we had expertise in doing this. So we wanted to assist others in being the phone bank pros for them. So we would have weekend phone banks for whatever race that we were partnering with, mostly Swing Left and Sister District. But now with COVID, we've gone virtual, and we've been pioneering how to do phone banking virtually. And that's one of the things that we also, I think, excel a bit in. If you've never done it, right now you're almost on one. We start out with a Zoom call like this. And if you're on the grid view and you see like the Hollywood Squares, you see everybody who's on the call. We start out that way. So you feel like you're in a room of people like at a headquarters or the old red to blue office. And then we teach you how to migrate to your browser to open the calling tool, just the way our phone bank captains used to help you one-on-one at a phone bank to get you into making the calls. And it may be PDI if you're calling for CA 10 and 21 for Josh Harder and TJ Cox, or it will be the virtual phone bank, the VPB, the van for the national Democratic races. And we will walk you through how to get on the tool and how to make the calls so that no one is left out. Then we regroup periodically, and at the end of the call, again through Zoom, to share our experiences. So we're doing what we can to replicate that feeling of all being in the same room in group together, but getting it done. As Susan explained, Sister District is one of the groups like Swing Left that grew out of the resistance movement in 2017. And they specialize in flipping state houses because we know that having Democrats control the state houses controls redistricting. That's where it all gets done. So we're trying to take back the state houses, hold the House seats that we won in 2018 with all of your help, and flip the Senate blue and get Joe Biden elected. So we're trying to do all of that. And there are other groups probably that are doing similar things. They may choose different races, and that's what Vote Blue SF is. It's a clearinghouse. If you are feeling anxious, and that's what I explain to people, when the news gets you really depressed or anxious or upset, grab the phone and start making some calls to win votes for a Democrat, whether it be Joe Biden or a Senate race or a House race, et cetera. And you will feel like you're doing something to move the ball forward. Texting has become a viable alternative this year. Many campaigns are using it, and I'm sure we will start having virtual text banking going on with trainings and that sort of thing as that crops up. It's the individual campaigns doing it. And one last thing before I throw the mic back to Peter. Our friend Manny at Manny's in the Mission, we can't announce specifics yet, but I believe there's going to be something called Manny's Mondays phone banks that are starting in August. And those are going to be fun because he always has special guests on that make it exciting. So that will be posted through Democracy Action and also Vote Blue SF. And lastly, what Democracy Action is, it's a group that we choose our own races, and very soon there will be some Senate races that Democracy Action will be having phone banks for. That's being worked out now, plus our partnerships with Swing Left and Sister District. So stay tuned for a lot of things coming to Vote Blue SF.
Thank you, Susan, for that overview too. And it's exciting to hear about the Manny's phone bank. So more to come on that. And there's going to be a lot of things that we all can do. And so we want to keep you all informed of what those specific events and activities are going to be. So you can decide what works for you, when you can plug in. Maybe it's Monday night, maybe it's Thursday night, maybe it's Saturday. There's going to be stuff every day for the next 100 days. So we want to plug you in. And so I just dropped a sign up form in the chat. So you can sign up to volunteer with us, and we will get you directly get you the information about the activities and events that we will be co-hosting through Vote Blue SF. And really, you know, our role as a local Democratic Party is we want to recruit. We want to recruit more volunteers so we can get more folks plugged into the phone banks co-hosted by Democracy Action, Swing Left, Sister District, Manny's, all of that. So we want all of you to help us get the word out to your friends and neighbors to get them to take a little time out to volunteer with Vote Blue SF. And I also want to now pass the mic to two of my colleagues on the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee to talk a little bit too about our plan for how we're going to engage the broader San Francisco community in the Vote Blue SF effort. And so first, I would like to welcome our first vice chair of the San Francisco Democratic Party, Leah Lacroix.
Hi, everyone. Wow, it was like so great hearing from Chair Campos and Speaker Pelosi. And I'm just like feeling and seeing all of you guys engaging in the comments. I'm like so fired up and ready to go and ready to get this thing started. You know, there's so much at stake right now. And so instead of like moving from a place of like anxiety or fear about like what's going to happen if that person in our White House continues to stay there, I think like we're in a perfect position to move out of a place of opportunity, right? Like we have an opportunity to engage with so many more voters, you know, who haven't been involved so far, you know, who probably are feeling that sense of like anxiety and dread. And like, this is a time now to just bring them in and say, hey, look, like this is, you know, we have the time to take back our White House, take back congressional seats, take back state legislative seats, you know, board of supervisor seats, board of education seats, and like have it work all the way down. And that's what makes, you know, Vote Blue SF so exciting to be a part of. And so what we hope to do with this is to bring in, you know, all of our volunteers who are a part of, you know, Sister District and Swing Left and, you know, Red to Blue, you know, a few years back, and bring them back, and then also bring in new folks to say, hey, look, this may be your first time getting involved. It's not scary, it's exciting. You can plug right in. And then also building out a diverse base of volunteers, you know, to say like, it's, this is something that we can all be a part of. And so, and thinking back to like just seeing like the power around all these young people who've been organizing these past few years too, around gun violence or around Vote 16 and stuff, like there's so much untapped energy that we can, help bring us over the finish line for 2020. And so in closing, I'd just like to, borrow some words from our speaker, Nancy Pelosi, and just say, like, let us all continue to be relentless in our pursuit of a more perfect union. And the best way that we can do that is to, and to help us undo the actions of the White House and the Republican Party, is to out-organize them. And that's what we can do right now. So call your friends, call your family, your coworkers, and even people in your lives who haven't quite been involved, and tell them like this is the perfect opportunity to do so. And tell them to join us at VoteBlueSF, because now is the time. So thank you all so much. And I just want to again thank, Chair Campos and Speaker Pelosi and Peter and Karima and the whole, bunch of you sitting here now, ready to get engaged and get involved. This is our time. Thanks.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lacroix, for your words and motivation to get us out there and to get us to engage everybody in our lives, because this is the most critical election of our lifetime, I think. And so we need everybody. We need everybody. And so next, I want to bring up our third vice chair of the San Francisco Democratic Party, Honey Mahogany, who leads our party's work with our charter Democratic clubs.
Thank you, Vice Chair Galata, Susan Pfeiffer, Susan Shane, Vice Chair Lacroix, Chair Campos, and Speaker Pelosi. This has been a really inspiring call. I am Honey Mahogany, Vice Chair of Club Chartering, and I really believe that our charter Democratic clubs are so incredibly important to the Democratic Party, especially as we've heard many times already, we head into one of the most important elections of our lifetimes. I totally agree with Chair Campos that we often say this before every election, especially presidential ones. But I think that what we've seen across this country in regards to not just differences in policy, though those differences are really important too, but the blatant corruption, racism, sexism, homo and transphobia, xenophobia, in addition to all that, the real erosion of our very democracy, all of this really makes it really, really incredibly crucial that we win this November. So as Vice Chair of Club Chartering and the first Black trans person elected in California, I'm actually really proud of the fact that when it comes down to doing the work that we need to do to win, San Francisco is blessed to have an extremely robust and diverse list of Democratic clubs that have the capacity to help. Our clubs can help spread the word, inspire dialogue, and also turn that inspiration into action amongst an incredibly diverse base. And in the past 2 months, we have rechartered and chartered for the first time 15 Democratic clubs, including the Arab American Democratic Club, Edwin M. Lee Asian Pacific Democratic Club, Harvey Milk LGBTQ Democratic Club, Pacific Islander Democratic Club, Rose Pack Democratic Club, San Francisco Eastern Neighborhoods Democratic Club, San Francisco Young Democrats, Alice B. Toklas LGBT Democratic Club, Bernal Heights Democratic Club, Brownie Mary Democratic Club, District 2 Democratic Club, Home Sharers Democratic Club, New Avenues Democratic Club, United Democratic Club, and the Young Latinx Democratic Club. I am really looking forward to continuing to work with all of you and all Democrats to really build, strengthen, and renew our Democratic clubs and to help them help us win in November. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Mahogany. And it's just amazing. Our clubs really touch every corner of San Francisco. I mean, and engage with the diversity of our city and reflect the diversity of our city. And I know we actually have some of our members of Democratic clubs and leadership that are on the call today. I know we have Eastern Neighborhoods Democratic Club, United Democratic Club. Thank you to our Democratic club leaders and members for all the work that you do locally. You are the grassroots of our party here in San Francisco. And I think what's exciting is we'd love to partner with you on VoteBlueSF. We'd love to get your clubs to partner on a phone bank, to even do we could do a training. We want to work with you. So we'd love to, maybe we can get a few clubs to even co-host together a phone bank to introduce your members to each other and build some more collaboration across our clubs. So we're down for whatever you all are down to do, but we welcome your engagement and look forward to partnering with you as well. So that wraps up our speaking program for today's event. I just want to again thank Speaker Pelosi, thank Chair Campos, Vice Chairs Lacroix, Mahogany, and of course our partners, Susan Shane, Swing Left, and Susan Pfeiffer from Democracy Action and Sister District. Just a few things before we go. One, we want you all to sign up to volunteer. I know I said that before, but I'm going to say it again. Please volunteer with us. I know we also have so many Red to Blue SF volunteers on the call today. Thank you for your service 2 years ago, and we'd love for you to come back and volunteer with us again. I dropped the volunteer sign up form in the chat. We'll also put it out on Facebook. This way we can keep you updated on all of the events that we are going to put together and that are already planned in the coming weeks, as soon as tomorrow. So the easiest way you can stay updated right now on VoteBlueSF efforts is actually on Facebook. And so we have a VoteBlueSF page on Facebook, and you can access that page by going to facebook.com/VoteBlueSF or search for it on Facebook. And we've already have a number of events listed there that you can plug into. And we'll also be following up with the folks who join us today to get you that information as well. So you have it, and you can also help us spread the word. And on that point of spreading the word, I'm encouraging everyone to think about arriving with 5 people when you do show up to a virtual event in the next few weeks. So think about 5 people who might be willing to volunteer, and send them info about VoteBlueSF and reach out to them. Maybe send them a text or an email and ask them to join you at an upcoming phone bank. I think if each of us recruits, 5 volunteers, think about how many more calls we're going to be able to make, how many more Senate seats we are going to flip, how many more states we can flip blue for Joe Biden. So it really is strength in numbers. And so arrive with 5 is my call to action to all of us. And of course, for our San Francisco Democrats who are joining us today, we encourage you to stay connected with the local party. Visit our website, sfdemocrats.org, to sign up for our monthly newsletter. We also have a Take Action in 2020 page, which will also have information about our partner organizations and other events that we are hosting. I will put in a plug. We are hosting a virtual action meeting this Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. 1-hour Zoom call. Hop on. We'll also be talking about ways that you can take action and get engaged for the November election. So if you know folks who weren't able to make the call today, this meeting will be similar in that we'll talk about specific events and ways people can get plugged in right now. So with that, I just want to say again, a thank you to Speaker Pelosi and her team, and especially Gary McCoy and Dan Bernal, for their incredible work to bring VoteBlueSF to life and their help with kicking things off today. Again, our partner groups, thank you. And of course, Chair Campos and my colleagues on the SFDCCC for your support and for the opportunity we have right now to unite Democrats in defeating the biggest threat to our democracy and our San Francisco values, and that is Donald Trump. So let's do it together. We're going to win in November, but the work starts now. So Chair Campos, any final words before we hop off?
I mean, the one thing that I would say is, once again, thank you, Peter, for helping to organize this with Karima and our amazing interns. Again, Alan, Emmanuel, Fidel, Priscilla, and Zoe. So one of the things that I hope we can do is have a little bit of healthy competition here. We certainly want to, I think that we should reward the club that has the most active participation in VoteBlueSF. So to all of our dozens of chartered Democratic clubs, is that going to be you, or is someone else going to beat you to it? So, you know, let's see who is the most active club. I know that I also, that we need to invite every elected official in San Francisco to host a night or a phone bank with VoteBlueSF. I really hope that the members of the Board of Supervisors, get engaged, that our mayor gets engaged in this process, our district attorney, our public defender. Everyone needs to play a role. I am also looking to the Board of Education, to the Board of Trustees of City College. Everyone needs to play a role in making this happen. And imagine we have 100 days to finally bring this nightmare of the administration and 45 to come to an end. 100 days. So that's not a long time. So we have to make sure that we have a strategy for what we're doing between now and then. 100 days is not a long time. And you know that the Republican Party is organizing. You know that they're going to have all the money in the world. So we need to do the one thing that we have, that we're the best at, which is the people power, the ground campaign, except that we're going to have to be smart about it and do it differently with COVID-19. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm not shy about holding people accountable and pointing out which Democratic club didn't step up to the plate. I know everyone will. So Peter, with that, I'll turn it back to you. But let's go do it, San Francisco Democrats. Let's show the rest of the country how it's done.
Yes, challenge accepted. Thank you, Chair Campos.
One last quick plug. Democracy Action will be recruiting and training new phone bank captains to help train people on virtual phone banks. So if you're interested in learning how to do it, come to one of the phone banks already and learn what we do, and we'll be happy to train you so you can run your own.
Great. Thank you, Susan. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will see you very soon, and you'll be hearing more from us about VoteBlueSF very soon. So thank you all. We'll see you all soon. Thank you.